Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
To the 10th session of Ganesh IAS Academy's IAS Perspective Builder lecture series. Recognizing the significance of low and high skilled job manufacturing stagnation, staying informed about current events, Ganesh IAS Academy is dedicated to covering essential subject areas that intersect with contemporary issues. We have an esteemed panel of instructors who are experienced civil servants, subject matter experts, and seasoned educators, and they will deliver interesting lectures and provide practical tips and techniques that will help you excel in your preparation journey. Now that all preparations for the lecture are in place, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Professor P. Natarajan sir, who has graciously accept our invitation to join us today. And coming to the topic for today's session, it is the low and high skilled jobs, manufacturing stagnation. Dear participants, we encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and share your thoughts and experiences. And sir, we are eager to hear from you and benefit from your insights.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's an interesting conversation I would like to have with everyone today. This is about, the jobs. We are going to, talk on the high skilled and low skilled jobs and the stagnation that is happening around us. First, let us start from the parameters, how things are being defined in the jobs. One is the organized, the second is the unorganized jobs. So what is organized jobs? What is unorganized jobs? Everyone knows what is organized jobs. The organized market have its own creation. It has plenty of jobs on offer to everyone. But at the same time, it is the unorganized job market, which has the potential to open the floodgate. When you talk on the organized, when it comes to, the first thing comes to is the government. The government jobs are few. The government jobs have come down. In every, recruitment, the government jobs, the number of vacancies that is being thrown open to the public has come down. Secondly, it is also curtail the expenditure. The government has also cut down the number of vacancies. Okay. And the organized sector is not contributing much in creating the jobs. Secondly, the private organized, because of the automation that is happening, that is also, shrinking. The space for the public is shrinking. What is throwing up is the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector is the sector which we have to look at it because it throws up a lot of jobs. It's both skilled and non-skilled. But how these jobs are actually helping the common man, in creating a better livelihood for these people. That is a debate. We have to, seriously look at the things. One of the important factor in the unorganized sector is the unorganized sector is largely untapped by the government when it comes to quantifying, measuring how many jobs have been created. Government goes by a different mechanism, to find out whether the jobs are actually created or not. For example, the government data network, the CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, and other data organizations, what they do is they look at the EPF data, how much enrollment has happened. So this is one set. Secondly, even non-EPF coverage areas are there in the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector, see, for example, in EPF, if you start a company, you register, and then you go for employment, creating employment, then the employees are given PF, ESI, you need to have at least say 10 people, 12 people. There is a different mechanism, in calculating all that. But apart from that, there are plenty of small micro level, small company. We don't call it as a company, small level area jobs where the individual can employ 2 or 3 people, like a petty shop. A shop, ideally, it's owned by a person, and then it will have the local kirana stores you can call. 2 or 3 people will be there, maximum 2, 3. But they won't be giving the benefits, the value addition to the employee. So those things are always there. What is important in the unorganized jobs is it creates jobs easily. It creates job. Only thing is the government has to, give an atmosphere. The government has to give an atmosphere that, there is no restriction on creating unorganized jobs. That is number one. Secondly, government won't do it, but the local level people will do it. See, local level, the agencies that are directly, the people who are dealing. For example, if you start a vendors, look at the vendors. Vendors technically have 1 or 2 people for a small shop or small, what do you call it, a cart. What happens is, the government agencies will come and, threaten those people in doing small time jobs. So these are one aspect. The second aspect being when you start a small company, very small company, employing say 10 or 15, there are a lot of restriction rules, you have to knock the door of different agencies. It is not only in getting the loans, but also in getting approvals from different government departments, right from the municipality to the small scale industry departments and the ministries and concerned, area departments and other things. So a lot of other things are there. How the government mechanism has eased, in developing the unorganized sector jobs is very important. But every time, government says we have eased the pressure, we have created lesser restriction. The pressure is now low in creating. The government time and again says we have, eased the pressure. But at the same time, small time entrepreneurs also says, the government is not actually doing its job. It's giving us pressure. So we are not able to operate in a better network, better environment. This is the charge made by the unorganized sector entrepreneurs. Above all, the problem lies on both the sides. The problem lies on both the sides. It is not a free economy. It is still a kind of control exists everywhere. For example, I'll tell you, getting permission is a biggest problem in creating small enterprises. Everyone knows the corruption involved in the sectors, right from bribing the councillors to, to the other level. It goes on. So many hurdles are there. This is one thing. And the second is small and micro medium enterprises. SMEs, some SMEs employ 100 people, 200, 300. There are small, medium, and large enterprises. But when it comes to a small prototype, small organizations, the kind of jobs it creates is huge and humongous in nature. But how many jobs we have created? Whether the jobs are created, everywhere. The pattern lies, the data throws up a different picture. For example, I would like to highlight Tamil Nadu, how the jobs are created, small enterprises, how the jobs are concentrated on particular areas. For example, Greater Chennai, Coimbatore region consisting of Erode, Coimbatore, Tirupur, part of Salem, part of Karur, these areas contribute nearly 70% of the SDGP, these areas. And if you take only the Greater Chennai, it is around between 45 to 50. So large part of Tamil Nadu, the jobs are not being created fully. Largely, they depend on the government subsidies, or into agriculture, or they are into small-time jobs. There is hardly any job creation happening around in other areas. If you leave 7 or 8 districts, I mean the greater part. For example, in Tamil Nadu has more districts, we have carved out many. So when you take that into account, say for 7 or 8 districts, leave 7 or 8 districts, the rest of the districts have a lot of problems. The problem in the sense, there is no jobs. For example, in Viluppuram, life gets tougher for people. There is a reason. I don't know if people have found most of the auto rickshaws and share autos that are running in Chennai, most of the drivers comes from the other areas. I mean the neighboring districts of Chennai, like Viluppuram, Senji, Tiruvannamalai, and other areas, Kadalur. They come here, they toil, and 1 week they earn, they go back, and after that they come back. And there is no, they actually sleep in dormant areas, and they sleep in their autos and other things. So there is no, the jobs are concentrated in a few. It is not only in Tamil Nadu, it is everywhere. Everywhere, wherever you go, only a particular concentration has better jobs, better prospects, even for small scale, even for, within quote, even for small scale. That is the biggest problem we face. So how to spread the unorganized job market to other areas in a better way? That is to be identified. One of the models some people say is the Zoho model, where Zoho is of late is concentrating more on, creating networks, creating the infrastructure for its offices in non-metro, non-second class metros and other areas. They have created, in fact, 2-3 places in, Madurai, Kapalur, and Chennai, and Tirunelveli, Tharuvai, and Madalamparai in Tenkasi district, and Kottarakara in Kerala, so on. So, this is taking away the jobs to the uncommon area. You can say it's not a common area, it's an uncommon. People haven't heard where Tharuvai in Tirunelveli is located. People can't understand where Madalamparai in Tenkasi district located. So there are different things involved in it. But at the same time, it has brought some results, like, creating not only employment, it creates additional employment. When an employment is created, it gets, the housing, gets activated, and constructions getting activated, other jobs like, every other allied jobs, like, the grocery stores, the small time vendors, the vegetable shops. So many things happens around when a company starts in a remote area. So that aspect has to be seriously looked. Why people want to concentrate on the urban areas, the so-called urban areas. So we can shift to the other areas where, plenty of opportunities can create it. One of the important factor, I was talking to one Zoho manager. He was actually looking after the Zoho education. We invited them for a lecture, and I was talking to him, and I found the cost works out much, much better for the company. Though the company wants to create additional jobs and other things in underprivileged areas, that is number one. But cost to the company for a project is very low. It's very low. And the company itself train people and ask them to do the jobs. This, in a way, the person largely depends on them. The attrition rate was also very low in Zoho compared to, say, for Infosys and other topmost companies in the IT field. So that is one thing. Even the manufacturing, why, I don't know. some of the industries that are, in and around Chennai. For some jobs, are created more in and around Chennai. See, the thing is, the services can move on to other areas, but at the same time, the manufacturing should also move. Unless the manufacturing move from the concentrated area, you cannot have a wider job creation in other areas. That is number one. Secondly, still in India, the services sector contributes significantly for the GDP. This is second point I would like to highlight. Why the services sector? We are not a market for manufacturing. Why India is not a market for manufacturing? Because manufacturing is tougher compared to services. Services, it is all IT, banking, and other related. Okay, tourism related, hotels, and other things. Still, some data shows that 50% of the country's GDP is contributed by the services sector. The services, of course, it creates job. But at the same time, when you make a comparison, the industries, the manufacturing actually throws open a lot of jobs over services. China, for example, people say the Chinese model of creating large employment opportunity, just a manufacturing hub. You have industrial parks over there, and the industrial parks, we have people, they manufacture everything. We address to the local market, but also significantly to the export market. You can export to other countries. This is one. But again, whether the manufacturing really helps in increasing the jobs, there is also a question. Recent studies, the Chinese, because of the Chinese have got, it is a non-democratic country. So, you can hold the people, but now, for example, I'll tell you, exports are falling in China. Jobs are, people are losing it, but still hardly anyone knows in the world what is happening in China. But at the same time, if things like that happens in India, it will be catastrophic. It will be a catastrophe if it happens in a country like India, if the manufacturing units started closing. So export-driven model, will it benefit? Or non-export driven market, like the one we have it, it's thick. Largely, if it is export driven, then you have to head for disaster. You can have a hybrid, both addressed to the local market as well as to the export market. That is very, very important. But again, I'll tell you, the Indian exports is falling. Indian exports are really falling because in every aspect, some export have risen, but most of the, it's very, very competition in nature. You look at the data, the imports are more. Even the manufacturing of ordinary shirts, garments, that has been traditionally done in India, like Tirupur, Bangalore, Ludhiana, and other parts, where the shirts were manufactured and the t-shirts were manufactured in plenty, has moved to Bangladesh. I don't know if you have seen it in recent days. Most of the shirts, branded shirts, are manufactured, made in Bangladesh. This is, how things are happening, don't know. But when you look at certain point of view, actually the jobs have fallen. It was not earlier. Now, why country like India imports even shirts and other dress materials from a country like Bangladesh? So the companies have gone for a cost-effective model. The cost-effective model is a Bangladeshi model. So, okay, you give in the material in bales and get stitched somewhere at a very lower cost compared to India. So the India manufacturing cost is slightly higher for the corporates. Why? That is to be. But at the local level, instead of blaming the politicians for every now and then, we have completely lost on creating better administrators. The administrators are the people who are there in government services for 30 years, 40 years. It is not the government comes and go. Every 5 years, government comes and go. And, the policy decision and other things, the changeover timing, it takes 1 to 2 years. And end of the day, every government spends only 3 years in creating a better environment. All said and done, the government's role is a facilitator. But who's actually at the execution part is the officials. The officials, are they doing the work? Are they giving better feedback to the government? It's a question that's to be seriously addressed. And the jobs in India, people want to be, everyone says people want to be managers at any cost. They don't want to have spanner and screw in their hand, doing manufacturing jobs. That is the reason why for the skilled jobs, states like, some people say it's advanced states like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra has a lot of problem in, getting skilled labor, Uh, people, move away from the skill. Though the government has come out with large schemes. There was one report, recently I went through. The government has a lot of, creating corridors. All expressways have been converted into, corridors like defense corridor, textile parks, and other things. A lot of mechanisms are being created, but it takes a lot of time in, for these industries to come up. But again, I'll tell you, the government's role is proactive in nature. Any government's role, whether it's central government or state government, it is proactive. But at the same time, somewhere down the line, there is a gap, which the politicians can't address it directly because the politicians they won't look at people. They won't look at where the system is lacking. They don't have that knowledge. But the officials have, but they don't bring it to the notice of the government. That is one. So in a country like India, we have only, the government can only create an environment. The government can't give jobs to everyone. So its population is nearing 150 crores, 1.5 billion. But again, a conducive atmosphere to be, built. But again, the low-level jobs are more in numbers. But low-level jobs are, on and off it comes. For example, during the festival season, a lot of online companies started recruiting more people for logistics. So logistics are creating more jobs. But at the same time, where is the protection mechanism for the individual? So you have the energy, you have, the age is on your side, people move around freely. Okay, you get fast money. Maybe you can earn 30,000 and you do a lot of hard work, get a lot of incentives. You can say that a delivery person gets 45,000 to 55,000, which is much higher than an ordinary permanent jobs throws open in India. But the entire job market is like, we are aping the Western model, like, uh, you are in jobs for some time, you move on to the other profession. In another 5 years, you move on to the third profession. So it happens in the Western market, but sooner or later, already I think it is there in the Indian market also, where the more the age is on your side, you can earn a lot. The age is on lesser on your side, it will become problematic. The problem is not actually coming, but it is there. I don't know, people are, not looking at it seriously, how the 40 plus and 50 plus are working in India. If you look at 20 to 40, it's fine. Maybe at different level, it is opening up jobs. But at the same time, if you seriously look and address issues on people, how the 40 plus category and the 50 plus category are working in the job market, I mean, the unorganized job market, it's a question. The government has come out with a different mechanism, like, everything is given free and the rice is given free. There are a lot of subsidy schemes and other things. But again, subsidy is a different thing. But creating a better environment is also very important. That is not actually happening. That is not actually happening. People largely sit on father and mother's assets. People largely sit on father, mother's assets. I happen to talk to people, and I have found there are, in Kerala, I was told, some people prepare for government exam for 6 years, 7 years, and they crack at the group 4, group 2, group 2 exams. It takes a longer time, but the amount of time that is spent is also huge. But with the advent of corruption in every sphere of our life, that is also throwing a lot of problem for the job aspirants, especially in the organized sector. But when the person prepares for the exam 7 years, 8 years, end of the day, what happens? End of the day, what happens is, he lives entirely on the assets of the family. That is also not a good sign. And fourthly, I want to talk about jobs getting mutated into a different one. The stagnation is largely attributed to this aspect. For example, I'll tell you why it is getting mutated. For example, one particular job. For example, 25 years ago, Xerox shops were in plenty. Every state will have 2, 3 Xerox shops. Okay. And you have STD booths. Gone are the days, in 25 years back, I mean, even before that, people will be in queue after 8. People will say, now the cost is 1/3 to call STD call. After 9, it's 1/4. In the night, it's much lesser. So, you have a queue. In fact, I was one of the person who was in the queue those days to call my parents from Chennai to other areas. So those things happened. Look at now, I could see in Chennai, wherever I have visited 30 years back as a bachelor, I can't find one Xerox shops, or, it is now an additional thing that is given in a shop. It's not an exclusive Xerox shop. Some shops, petty shops, they have a small machine, and sometimes, they give address to the services of, the need has also now come down. People taking photocopies have also come down. That is one aspect. But again, the shops are very little, 1 or 2. And there is absolutely no Xerox, HDD, ISD booths. So jobs getting mutated. Look at the restaurants model. Restaurant, everyone goes, eats. Now what happens? Almost all the restaurants are listed in the Swiggy, Zomato, or other, e-tabs. What happens? The entire thing is now being ordered. So what is important now? The things are slowly moving away. The cost has also gone up to run a restaurant. People move to different areas where they have a small kitchen, cloud kitchen concept, where they have a kitchen, and they prepare everything, bring it to different areas, sell. The same way, selling in a different shop. Say you have a large chain of network selling food articles. You have single kitchen catering to everyone. Same thing for the Swiggy Zomato model. So jobs are getting mutated. Here, when you have a restaurant, you need an electrician, you need at least 2, 3 bill collectors to be there, and cashier and you need at least, depends on the restaurant, you need a lot of, the stewards and other people, the service people and others. So typically it will employ 30 to 40 people, a large restaurant, a mid-sized restaurant. All that is gone. So jobs getting mutated, the delivery person matters in the logistics area, where computers have taken away the role of the many of the jobs in the market. So that is, every job is getting mutated. Every job is getting mutated. So largely we have a kind of interface mechanism. Through the interface, we address our issues. It is no more like, knowing the local vendor or local electrician or, a local carpenter or a local, a small-time job people for, for cleaning. Everything has gone in a very different mode. Everything has gone, of course, it is going in an organized way. The government also encourages the organized, the government, you see, largely the government will always, entrust the responsibility to the officials to convert the unorganized jobs into organized jobs. You know why? Because when it comes to an organized market, they can have they can tap how much you are receiving it, and they can tax. They can tax. But in an unorganized, you cannot tax. You find it extremely difficult to tax. To get into the tax system, the government always, cut the unorganized sector so that, even for, look at the flowers. So for example, the local aunties and dadimas selling flowers, she might earn, say, 200 rupees a day. And sometimes during season, she might earn 2000 also. But, it varies, and there is no guaranteed return for their investment. Yeah, it's one of the tough jobs. You see in a lot of online companies, I mean, serving, vegetables and fruits and other things, you can find even flowers are being offered to the customers. It offers at a very concessional rate. What happens? In a way, in 20 years, I suspect the flower vendors will vanish. Flower vendors will vanish. The small kirana shops will also vanish. So, for example, my father, the person will say, my father, who is standing from morning 5 o'clock, okay, getting the first milk from the Avin and other milk companies and sell it in the open market, and close the shop at 10, 10:30, 11, toil for almost 16 hours to 20 hours a day. No one is interested. Their siblings, I mean, they're either their siblings or their sons and daughters are not interested to carry or to continue the local kirana stores once it demise. This is what is happening. I have seen in many, of course, when the old store goes, the new store, even in place like Tirunelveli, where I originate, and I've seen in Nagarkoil, I have seen in Madurai, Thoothukudi, many shops. I mean, the grocery stores, local kiranas, I have seen vanished. You don't have an Annamalai store, an age-old store, which was selling, all soaps and other things, cosmetics, other things in the market for years in the bridge area, opposite to the Chandravilas Hotel. It's closed. So a few years back, they closed. The local kirana vendors also closed. Some of the, the Vallinayagam Kadai and other things. I've seen many. I'm talking about giving example in my area. Probably it would have say, if you ask your people, neighbors, or your father, mother, they will also have a different story. A lot of shops not only getting closed in and around Chennai, in the urban centers, but also in the semi-urban rural centers, a lot of jobs are getting closed. A lot of jobs are getting closed. I don't know how these jobs are migrating or moving. There is no proper data. We don't have a proper data. The mechanism is also adulterated. The mechanism is also adulterated. People, the social theories, people only talk on social theories, but they don't even have a proper study of how these people have migrated their jobs and what is happening to them. What is happening to them in the living environment. That is very, very important. The other thing I would like to highlight is, high skilled jobs are very few in India. Is it a reason for people moving to the Gulf and America? That is a question. Gulf and America, it throws up a lot of jobs, but again, the same time, the earning potential because the taxation, there is no taxation in the Gulf. In America, you can earn in millions. So those are driving our high skilled people to those areas, getting more money. So end of the day, money matters. Why it is not being created in India? Why India is not a hub for high skilled jobs? Of course, it is there. High skilled jobs are there, but technically, a person who's earning around, say, 500,000 rupees here may end up earning, say, 17 lakhs, 18 lakhs. I mean, close to 2 million rupees. You convert, in terms of dollar value, you convert into Indian rupees. It is actually, I was talking to my brother, he said it is 2 to 3x higher. So people move. So the environment has to be created to address all this. And this is one. And the middle skill jobs and the low skill jobs are, we concentrate more. The high skill job we don't concentrate because it involves more of managers and senior officials, or technically, very few in nature. The middle skilled and the low skilled, you have, it throws up a lot of jobs, But again, the government mechanism is a failure in addressing certain issues. Why the government mechanism is failure? The government, instead of being a facilitator, what happens is, it creates hurdles. That's a problem in creating a job. Let us be very honest. Nothing happens around us without a bribe. Nothing happens around us without a bribe. That is the main problem for us in creating a better environment for jobs. I would like to highlight a few more important facts. Those are, the minimum wage structure. The minimum wage structure is a problem, some people say. For example, each state has got a minimum wage structure in Western countries. But countries like India, they look at the central government maintained a minimum wage for, domestic workers, they have a minimum wage. For plantation workers, they have a minimum wage. The government of India comes out, Labor Ministry comes out with a different mechanism. That's number one. But countries in the West have a different mechanism of creating a better yardstick. So minimum wage structure, is it really hurts? We have to seriously look at it. For example, people flock to different areas when they can earn more from their area. For example, if a job in Eastern India, like Bihar or West Bengal, gives you, say, 10,000, 12,000 for a job, same job throws you, say, 40,000 here in Chennai or Bangalore or in Kerala, Kochi. People move away. So they earn, they make a living, and then send the money back to their area. This is one thing. So why it is not the, the minimum wage structure, though in place, is it actually happening or it is not happening? That's a question. But, the Labor Department, the enforcing agency, is also, a corrupt mechanism where, what happens is they don't make a proper audit. And people, they don't make complaints. People simply, here's the environment. If the shop is shut in one area, they move to the other in search of better opportunities. That is one. The minimum wage, is it hurting? We should make it, we should democratize it. The minimum wages, at least we can on a test basis, we can see in a particular area or a cluster in a state to abolish the minimum wage in certain areas and see to that if the minimum wage structure is actually hurting or not. This we should find out. This is my, take on this day. The minimum wage, could actually destroy jobs. This has happened in Kerala. Kerala, For some areas, we find it difficult to get skilled manpower. For area in Kerala, you get, very tough to get skilled manpower. See, getting skill is a problem. Getting skill is a problem in southern India because people want to move away. Once they are into graduation, people want to move away from the manufacturing. They want to get employed in an office where you have 24/7 air conditioner and better atmosphere. Even the salary is not in tune with what they get in a different area. I'll tell you a small example of, how even at the high skill labor market has a differential yard system in giving payout to the employees. An IT employee technically placed in Chennai, all of you would have heard it. Say for example, he gets 1 rupee, he will get at least 1 rupee 40 paise in Bangalore. He will get 1 rupee 50 paise in Hyderabad. He will get more in Pune, where the salary will peak to double or triple in Mumbai and the national capital region of Delhi. So you have a different yardstick, a pay structure, even in India. So it is not, actually affecting us, but it is a different mechanism. It is being employed by different companies. I don't know the reason for it, but the company should start experimenting a different model to address the needs. Largely, they concentrate on the urban network. Now they started slowly moving away. This is happening. It recently, I was talking to a person who's in the market in the manufacturing sector. He was telling me the jobs are slowly moving to the non-urban areas, even the manufacturing. Some of the clusters in Tamil Nadu, like Kadalur, Sitco complex is throwing open a lot of jobs where small enterprises are coming up in non-urban areas. I mean, I'm talking about urban is Chennai and Coimbatore and other areas. It is slowly moving away to other areas where new jobs are being tapped. But the effect will take a lot of time. A lot of time in the sense, to address it, to find out really this has helped. Really, this has helped in creating better employment opportunity in the non-urban sector. See, one of the main thing I would like to highlight here is the productivity of everything has increased. The productivity. We have wonderful products available. India is creating wonderful products. And, in accordance with the rules or the global standards, but not the wages. But you create a better product, but you don't get a better wage. See, everywhere you go, people complain that their wages are not in tune with, especially on the low-skilled jobs. People complain that they don't get the actual wage for their jobs. In India, in America or in the Western model throws up a different one. It is like a need-based. When the need is high, people pay you more. When the need is low, people give you little. It's a need-based. India is a country, people always expect a mechanism to address their issue, like a regulator. Is the regulatory system a better one? Or you should make sure that you have competition. The competition will not actually kill others. At the end of the day, you will have the consumer will become, the king. The consumer becomes a king. You know how? Look at the telephones. I mean, the mobile market. It was 13 players. The government gave out like tickets. And end of the day, with a lot of competition, it's a capital intensive one. But at the end of the day, you have 3 or 4 operators. But at the same time, you have better services in the telecom industry. You have better networks now. Though we rank maybe in the government, I mean, the international standards are given fairly, if not to the level. So you cannot compare with our standard with 150 crore people with the standard in Singapore, which has, not even HNI when it comes to the area, and Bahrain or UAE. It is not a market. So standard set, on a comparative framework, the Indian market is giving a better service. But at the same time, will the cost kill? That is to be answered in a different lecture, because the cost is always a different one. Everywhere when you ask people, people will tell you like, I don't get the exact price for what I'm giving. But nobody runs on charity. Nobody runs on charity, and definitely they'll be making some profit out of it. But again, there's a compliance and counter compliance that always exist. But low skill wage is actually, it creates a kind of stagnation, because we don't get employment. People, at the low skill, when the wages are low, people move away. This is a primary reason for the stagnation. And the profit goes to the, when the industry also shines, end of the day, what happens is the profit goes up to the top, not to the lower end. That is a general complaint in the industry, be it manufacturing or services or any sectors. What happens is industry shines, but whether it has increased the wages for the middle and lower, it's a question. Of course, I'm not complaining. Almost everyone is like that, but you can say that some are not getting adequate wage increase. Not some, many. The reason being the profit goes to the top, but the profit doesn't reach the middle and the lower. This is one general complaint. It exists, of course. That is to be seriously addressed. And, there is one more thing that is to be highlighted, especially every time when people say the employment generation has gone down, immediately what comes to people's mind is, they look at only the EPF data. See, EPF, you have enrollment has gone up. It has gone up by 70%. It has gone up by 80%. New additions have happened. In the last quarter, 6 million new EPF additions have created. Large data government throws up, it is subject to criticism, number one. But at the same time, I would like to tell the other people who question the data also, they should come out on a substantial framework where the government is failing. They have not addressed that. So claims and counterclaims exist when it comes to creating jobs. But at the same time, not everyone is left untouched by the booming economy. The economy moves on. Only the jobs gets mutated. The jobs actually gets mutated for a different reason, because it is a generation X. You have, every day new inventions, new businesses, happens, develops. So the jobs also getting mutated to a different, like people having more luxurious products, people having more services, their income level also goes up. Even their investment pattern. For example, I was told that deposits have fallen from the banks. Definitely deposits will fall. It's not a huge thing, big thing. You know why? The reason, the interest is very low. Who will keep their money for 6-7%? But at the same time, the stock market investment is also booming. So where when it gets down, there is no need to complain. Because, in the other gate opens. There is, on the chat box, according to periodic labor force survey of Government of India, high aspiration among the youth are making them to stay employed? How does this affect the informal sector?